Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. The Don Lemon saga. The Don Lemon saga continues. Now, obviously, it's been a fiery train wreck, from getting fired to CNN, to then rebounding thanks to Elon Musk's generosity, frankly his freaking charity at X, signing Don Lemon on in a show of good faith to have talking heads on both sides present on the platform. But of course, Don Lemon screwed that one up with his complete, out of control, totally unjustifiable greed. The guy gets like 2,000 views a video, yet he demanded, what was it, $8 million and a Cybertruck. You know, Don Lemon's experienced a couple career setbacks here, and I think it's forced him to have to really reflect, to have to think, and most importantly, to have to re-strategize. You know, it feels like little Donny Boy here has in a way had to start from scratch. You know, I think he realized finally that his career was actually handed to him by a major corporation. He didn't actually earn that audience, he was handed that audience, and for sure it got to his head. I mean, he thought he was going to leave CNN and be this big deal, bringing his, I don't know, like 400,000 or 500,000 viewers with him to independent platforms. But little did little Donnie know, he didn't actually have a fan base. Most of his viewership came from idle TVs, simply open and running in airports, nursing homes, and people's living rooms. Now it seems like Don Lemon is finally trying to earn his place in this independent media sphere. He's starting from scratch, doing the political YouTube shtick that you'd expect. Don Lemon's doing street interviews, you know, taking the Mark Dice approach of sorts, of course without the parody, intelligence, wit, and charisma. But you know what, at least it's something. For the first time in Don Lemon's career, he's produced content of actual value. I know, it's crazy to think of. Although now that I think about it, maybe that's not fair, because back in the day he used to make worthwhile content.
Because black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5. And if this doesn't apply to you, if you're not doing this, then it doesn't apply to you. I'm not talking about you. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Walking around with your ass and your underwear showing is not okay. In fact, it comes from prison when they take away belts from the prisoner so that they can't make a weapon. And then it evolved into which role a prisoner would have during male-on-male prison sex. The one with the really low pants is a submissive one. You get my point? Number 4 now is the N-word.
You know, at one point, Don Lemon was a real human being, it seems. Well, once again, Don is kind of doing a good job. I know it's hard to say that. At least he did in this video. Let me show you guys exactly what happened. Don Lemon takes to the streets, interviewing mostly black voters in Chicago. Let me just say this. You would have never seen this on Don Lemon's CNN show. Let me show you guys exactly what happened. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I think I said enough in the intro. Just take a look.
How are you feeling about the election?
I'm going for Trump. I feel like every time they don't want somebody who is good for us to win, they throw somebody black in our face thinking that's going to like make us vote for the black person.
I voted for Obama because he was black. I don't want to vote for her because she's the first black woman to run for president or to win.
I don't vote.
Well, I want Donald Trump. I'm sorry, I want Donald Trump.
Why do you apologize?
Well, I know nobody likes him, but we had good times with Donald Trump.
I'm running for Trump, so.
You are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why?
Yeah. I don't know. I just always been a fan of his, so that's what I'm running for.
I used to be against Trump. I used to live in Virginia. I saw the bad side of it, but really moving to Cleveland, I saw the other side of it.
I'm supporting Trump.
You are. Because?
Because it has to change.
Yeah.
It has to change, and now I vote more for what fits me better as a person rather than voting for the black person or voting for the first woman. So.
What do you think about Kamala Harris?
I think they say she phony and fake, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, I'm like Trump saying, you know, what are you, you know? So I'm not feeling her. People get mad about it, I'm just not feeling her.
I don't like her the way she speaks, the giddiness, the laughing. Everything's a joke, and it's not a joke. We're in trouble.
I'm going for Trump. Kamala was on Biden's team, and I don't like Biden. Gas wasn't this high when Trump was our president. Food wasn't this high. I'm going for Trump.
Don Lemon actually breaks the internet. I mean, holy frickin' moly, maybe if he was making content like this, he would have actually had some leverage going into contract discussions with Elon Musk. I mean, this right here, this is objectively good content. No filter, no spin, no nonsense. You know, pretty much none of the regular stuff that you'd expect coming from CNN's reporting. Nope, none of that, just a nice, healthy dose of reality. And this right here, I mean, it's so needed. The media's doing its thing. The media's doing exactly what you'd expect it to do. They're filtering the news, non-stop shilling, trying to craft this idea that Kamala Harris is so incredibly popular. But it doesn't seem to track with reality. Again, they keep telling us that Kamala Harris has so many supporters, such a groundswell of support. But it's hard to find these people. It seems just like the same old crew. I think Ben Dominic did a great job in his response to this Don Lemon video on Fox News.
I think there's a lot of joy among Democrats who are partisan and engaged, who saw what was happening with Joe Biden, were worried that they were going to lose this election, and now feel like that they have a fighting chance. Outside of that partisan contingent, I think the voters that they actually need in order to win an election are not hearing what Antoine is talking about from her as it relates to the basic things that matter to them in terms of their family, their security, and the security of the nation.
All right.
And that right there is pretty much the point that I was trying to make. It feels like there's a lot of artificial hype, a lot of the same old Democrat faces pushing all of this excitement, which sure, I'm sure they are excited. I mean, go back in time a month and a half, they were on the precipice of total party collapse. Joe Biden was going down and he was taking the party with him. And so now, obviously, that they've, I guess we could say, breathed new life into the party, into their, ambitions for 2024. There's a lot to be excited about if you're a blue anon shill, but if you're not part of that crew, I mean, I think most people are asking themselves, like, what's this excitement about? It feels like they're trying to create excitement where it doesn't actually exist. I mean, look, maybe I'm crazy or maybe I'm figuring this thing out, but I'm just not seeing it. And honestly, the more information that I'm getting access to, the more I'm thinking it's all a mirage. Kamala's making all these gains. The first black woman. I mean, they have been playing the black card and of course the woman card since the moment Kamala Harris took control of the reins. You'd expect to see a big spike in black support, right? Well, it doesn't exist. It's not there. Go across the polling data, then Kamala's polling with most demographic groups, basically exactly where Joe Biden was. For the most part, I'm seeing her in the low 70s, when you would expect her to be touching the 90s. But it's just not happening. It's just not working. I think a little seed was planted not too long ago. I'm sure it started back in the day with Thomas Sowell and Larry Elder and a lot of these prominent thinkers. But where I really think the trend started was with the Blexit movement back, I think, in 2017, 2018 era, which was the black exit of the Democrat Party movement, which I believe for a good while was led by Candace Owens. There's been this seed of doubt planted. The question that a lot of minority voters are asking themselves is, do the Democrats actually have my interest at heart? And of course, the answer to that question is quite evident. But the point is that talking point is sort of permeated. It's bounced around. It's spread around. And it's got a lot of people, I think, having those oh shit moments, that moment of epiphany where you ask yourself, why? Why am I voting for the Democrats? What have they done for me? Why do I just blindly feed into this racial party unity nonsense? Why do I vote for the person just because they're black rather than voting for actual qualifications and track record? And when you ask yourself that question, well, where do you think it's going to lead? It's very simple. People know what Kamala Harris is all about. She's been the vice president for the last 4 years, and she's been involved in politics for decades. Donald Trump leaves office in January of 2021. Her and Joe Biden take over. The economy instantly goes to crap. The world plunges into chaos. The border's completely out of control. Large American cities are being invaded by criminal migrants and gangs, as well as illegal economic migrants. Life objectively got worse. And so when people are asking these questions, they're obviously going to come to a similar conclusion that Kamala isn't the person for the job, and life was clearly much better under Donald Trump's leadership. A lot of people are coming to that conclusion, or at least they're kind of leaning towards that way, and then they're hearing this nonsense.
But Harris, I think she's done that throughout her career.
Okay.
That's why you see 70,000
Then why do you have to keep introducing
Republicans
her?
on a Zoom rallying on her behalf. She just happens to be a woman. She just happens to be black. But I will tell you, and she is the most qualified person to ever run for the office. If she was a Republican, Republicans would be gushing over her.
Listening to these leftist shills talk about Kamala Harris as if she's some sort of freaking deity coming down from the clouds to save us, listening to this kind of rhetoric. Meanwhile, gas is still expensive and you're still struggling, and you know that Kamala Harris is responsible for all of it, or at least partially responsible. I'd argue even a little bit beyond that, significantly responsible, considering she's the one who casted the tie-breaking vote on a lot of these inflationary bills. If you know that and then you see what they're saying, the two simply don't jive, and I think everybody can see it. Everybody who's not wearing the Democrat donkey blinders. Whether you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, everybody's living in Kamala's America, and so obviously everybody's subjected to the truths of Kamala's America. And I think that's going to be increasingly difficult to contend with the closer we get to Election Day, because the closer you get, the more real it gets, and the more people will move away from this reality TV Hollywood hype cycle that they're trying to create surrounding Kamala, and more people will come come back to sane reality and vote on the actual issues, rather than voting for the candidate who's showing up at the most rap concerts. I really wouldn't be surprised with that. The closer we get to Election Day, Trump tends to gain more and more in the polls, slowly but surely. The Democrats want to pretend as if everything changed the moment Kamala Harris took over, but really, at least for a lot of people, nothing changed. I think Democrats picked up disillusioned Democrat voters after Joe Biden dropped out, and the rest of people remain totally uninterested. That the mainstream narrative and the polls, they're simply missing something, and funnily enough, Don Lemon just gave us a window into that possible phenomenon. Who would have thought? That would have never happened at CNN, huh? Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.